I'm very happy here to welcome, and an honor for me to welcome, Hariharan ji. So let's give him a round of applause. We have had the pleasure here of hosting other musicians, but no one as exceptional as him, and it's my honor again to welcome him for this event.
Do you normally say that everywhere, to everyone?
No, I normally don't say that everywhere. He's the soul of Indian playback singing, as most of you know, right? A lot of ghazals. He's composed and sung and produced more than 30 albums of ghazals, which is an incredible feat. He's sung in a number of Indian language films, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil, his mother tongue, Malayalam, and lots of others. So we're going to talk about how it is to be versatile across multiple languages soon. And so without further ado, let's get started on asking him some questions. So I'm going to go back in history a little bit, Raji, right? We're thrilled to have you here. And the history sort of goes back and sort of says, when I look at it, you learned from your parents, Carnatic music, right? Your mother was your first guru, right? How was it learning from a parent? Because as a parent, when I try to teach a kid, I know how difficult it is.
Well, see, basically, I was born since the day I was born, and I've been always listening to music. Like somebody's learning or somebody's performing or something is played in the house, because it was a 24/7 music was on in the house. And so learning music was more like an osmosis process. Pick up certain things, and then she thought that, I could sing. So sometimes she used to say, okay, learn this. And as I grew up, there was problems in learning also, because I used to say, no, I will sing it this way. So he said, you can't sing it this way. I said, why? Because he says, this is Carnatic, this is classical music, this is how it should be sung. I couldn't understand it then. But then it was a beautiful relationship we had, and it still continues.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And I like the osmosis example, because we all learn from our surroundings by osmosis, from music around us, whether it be music or other fields.
Yeah, and my parents, they are Carnatic musicians. My father's no more. But they used to be keen listeners of Hindustani also. So I've been exposed to Hindustani music, classical music, which I trained later under Ustad Ghulam Musbah Khan Sahab from my childhood. So
what has been the influence and the learning from your Hindustani classical guru?
Influence, it's my staple diet, I would say, because I'll sing khayal. Khayal is a genre where you have an antrai and a sthai. Khayal, as the word goes, imagination. It is about imagining phrases of a scale, of a rag. And you can go for hours just building that rag. So it's a good way of become imaginative. You can add your phrases, and there comes a point when you keep doing this khayal gaiki, you need not think that you have to imagine now and you have to come up with a phrase. The phrase happens.
Right.
Still, we don't know how it happens, but it happens. Like a phrase which you have never sung in your life from a certain scale, it pops out. Then you think, how did it come out? So that is the
creative process.
The creative process, yeah.
And now I hear your son Akshay is also a singer. I'm going to get to the other side of now as a parent, working and being a guru to your son. How does that?
Well, my elder one Akshay, he's not basically a singer. He's more of a composer and a programmer. He just blew my head one day. He's an economics graduate from LSE. And then suddenly, after finishing, I thought he'll be joining a corporate house and he'll start working. So he says, Dad, I need 3 months. I want a break. I said, okay, take 3 months. So after 3 months, the 4th month comes and he's still on a break. So I asked him, okay, what are you going to do? So he turns around and he says, Dad, I want to do music. I said, music? Of course, he's learned rags and from my guru and things like that. And kind of okay. But I've never seen him perceive into music like. And then he says, Dad, do you remember about 5 years back you gave me a laptop? I said, yeah, it still works. He said, yes, it works. And he came out and played some production. He's been producing music. So I said, man, it's nice what you've been doing, but remember, I'm your dad. I can't just say that you take up music, because I've got to be confident about it. I should feel secure that you're taking up music. So I give you 1.5 years and impress me. Do something which, when I can say, okay, now you do this. And he's done it. He's done 2 films. After that, he's done 2 films. He's coming up with a electronic-based Indian classical album. It's a fusion between Indian classical music and electronic music, EDM, as you call it. So he's coming up with that. So wish him best luck.
Good. So since you mentioned fusion, I'm going to sort of talk a little bit about that genre of music that you pioneered with the colonial.
Me and Leslie.
Leslie
Lewis.
Leslie Lewis pioneered with in Mumbai, and putting together Indian and Western music together, and created this group called Colonial Cousins, which has been sort of, in my opinion, being impactful across India for the youth to pick up. So what is that experience like, putting together 2 different genres of music?
Again, it is something like an Indian talking Marathi and suddenly going to English, or Kannada and going into English. When you talk, converse, we are multilingual, I would say, as a country. And the base, I mean, everybody speaks English in India. And everybody speaks English in the countries which was colonized.
Right.
So the word colonial cousins came about, that there is fusion in such countries. It's a positive thing. And I've heard my grandmother, and they sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in Raga. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Something like that. So that's how Colonial Cousin was triggered, basically. Krishna ni begane baro, begane baro, mukhavana toro. Krishna ni begane baro. The darkness coming round, and everybody fighting with their brothers. Everybody wants control to keep us locked in. Hey, please release us. So come down and help us. Save all the little ones, they need a teacher. And you are the only one we can rely on to build a better world, a world that's for children, a world that's for everyone. Krishna ni baby. So, thank you.
So fusion music, particularly for youngsters growing up here, should be sort of very ideal, because they grow up with an Indian heritage at home, and outside in America, they're looking at sort of Western music and influence.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for either budding musicians in this audience or
I think,
kids?
I mean, if it's Indian music, there are a lot of great artists who are visiting here, and some people have workshops and teachers and things like that. I think get exposed to them, and that's the best way. Feel free. Any kind of music which gives you peace is good music, basically. It's not about genres. And the world, as we know, it's becoming a very small place. I mean, there's so much of interaction between things. Like I was I've started something called as Urdu Blues. It's in Urdu. But what does a person talk about when he's singing blues? It's about his life, his love, his beloved, his high points in life, happiness, low points in life. The same thing we do in Urdu. So, I mean, just the Navarasa, all the emotions of the human being are same in each and every country, in each and every human. And we are so identically similar, the whole world. I think any kind of music is, we can just walk across and say, wow, this is that. It is so simple. And I think through Google we can learn a lot.
We just make it all the information easily accessible.
Yeah.
And what advice in terms of training should people, budding musicians who want to practice in this or play in this genre?
See, there's no shortcut in learning music. There are exercises for instrumentalists as well as for vocalists, and you got to keep doing it. Because playing music, singing music is basically discipline, hard work, and that same hard work becomes your muscle memory. And it seems as if it is spontaneous. It is spontaneous, but it is because of all this build-up, all this work. The brilliance comes suddenly. So it's hard work, basically. And learning music is very good because you know the grammar, you know what you're doing. And when you do something wrong, you know how to rectify yourself. Otherwise, it's like wild goose chase, you know. Maybe all your life you've been singing a phrase wrongly and you feel, wow, this is something I'm doing amazingly. And some people are born with, they can sense pitch. Some people are tone deaf. If you're tone deaf, it's very difficult to be a musician because sa, what do you do? I mean, you can't do a damn thing. Or if you don't have rhythm sense, basically. So obviously a person who is interested in music and who will go towards it is someone who has got both these qualities. And learning music is very important. Practicing is important.
And it's said that you used to practice like 13 hours a day.
It's actually this, it used to be 10 hours, now it's gone to 13 hours. It increases basically. But practically speaking, yeah, I used to, there was a time when I kept singing the whole day. So I've never actually counted hours, but yeah, waking hours, that much.
I think that's true for any discipline. If those of us here in the technology sector,
exactly
13 hours a day and
absolutely.
This stuff, we would we do wonders as well. Let me take you down sort of the memory lane to the year 1978.
1978, okay.
You were brought in by the late Jaydev.
I was
your first Hindi movie song in the movie Gaman.
Gaman. A lot of people, when you guys wouldn't been born, right? So, yeah, 1977, 77, 78, yeah. Film Gaman.
That first song that got you a nomination at the National Award.
Yeah, it's...
And in Uttar Pradesh.
It was a Urdu song, and for a South Indian to sing Urdu was like, wow, why is he doing that? How is he doing that? Like, you know. But again, being born and brought up in Bombay helped me. And it was a song called Ajeeb Saneha Mujh Par Guzar Gaya Yaro. Now, you'll understand Ajeeb. Guzar Gaya Yaro. Saneha means incident. A very odd incident took place. मैं कल रात अपने साये से डर गया यारो. I got scared of my own shadow, like my own existence. So that was my first song.
That's really incredible. And since it was your first foray into Hindi movies, any special memories about how that process went, how working with Jaydev was? And
Jaydev ji was, he was like a friend, philosopher, guide, and I was his assistant for about 3-4 years after that. I remember it was a small orchestra, it was not a very big orchestra, but 20 people orchestra. And those days we didn't have dubbing facilities. We had to sing at one go. 1, 2, 3, and then you should start. So that time the first take was okay.
Wow.
And then we did one more take for the safety's sake and all that. So that was I remember that very clearly. And it is very interesting, very exciting.
It's very exciting to be in the first. And then 14 years later, 1992, when you worked with Mani Ratnam signed you up for, and working with A.R. Rahman.
Right.
On the film Rosa, with the Tamil song, Tamila Tamila. Right?
I
What was your experience moving from Hindi to Tamil?
Well, I never thought that I'm going to sing in Tamil films or something like that. Not for anything else. I was engrossed in my ghazals, and I used to, as I said, I used to compose and perform ghazals and things like that. Kept doing Bollywood numbers and all that. Then I met this young boy, Rahman. He had come to Bombay to do a jingle. So he called me for the jingle, so I went and met him. Very quiet, and he said, I love your album called Reflections. I've been listening to it. So I said, fine. And then we did the jingle. I really worked hard on it. It bounced. But the only thing which came out of it was he called me 3 months later for the song in Roja, Bharat Humko Jaan Se Pyara Hai, Tamira Tamira. So that's how I started working with him, and we worked a lot together. An amazing musician and a human being to work with, very humble, and it is for him it was like a block building. We used to sing the composition the way it is, and then keep improvising, and it was like always an experience to work with him, I would say. Good experience, yeah.
And you have have a number of fantastic music produced with A.R. Rahman.
Oh yeah.
What has his been sort of influence over your career over these years, right? As a collaboration, what do you see has moved or changed your career then?
No. I mean, I always felt that I started my career in '77. Through the '80s, I was doing songs, but not to the extent of like a Roja or a Bombay. I think I was preserved and for the '90s, and me and yeah. Rather than saying look at it. I mean, you can either look at it saying that, man, '80s I struggled and it's not that. I was preserved for '90s. So I'm still there in front of you, and you all have come to see me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you've sung songs in multiple languages.
Yeah.
You said Hindi, Tamil, Marathi, Malayalam, Kannada, and a few more, I guess. The list goes on. Do you speak all these languages?
No.
So how do you manage to put a perfect rendition in a language that you don't speak without accent such that you sound like a native speaker?
Yeah. Of course I have goofed up, but it has not come out in the public. We all goof up. That's the beauty of music. The composer, the composer and the lyrics writer, they sit down together and make a song. So obviously each song, each word is translated musically to its emotional content, the way it should be said. In what context it comes in the line. So it's to speak the language is difficult. To sing a language is easier. Because you get the meter to sing it, you get the expressions of the words, and obviously when your pitching is perfect, the bhava, the emotion of each word comes out. That's art. So when you have these three, And of course, you sit there and you go through the lines, say 30, 40 times and learn it. You can sing it.
So it's different because you're singing the emotions rather than just the words.
Exactly. That helps you.
Yes. And the emotions transcend language. That's what I guess you're saying.
Yeah.
And
it's like working the other way.
Again, another thing with languages, you had 2 national award songs.
Yeah.
One in Hindi with Mere Dushman Mere Bhai in the movie Border, right? And then the second one was in the Marathi movie Jogwa.
Jogwa, yeah.
Right? How are these two different kinds of songs in 2 different languages spread across 15, 20 years probably? What in your mind was sort of exceptional about these songs?
Both the songs had a lot of emotional content, and it was placed in a very beautiful point in the film. See, film music is not music per se. It also how the song has been shot, who's singing the song, and what context it comes in the film is very important. That also makes or breaks a song. Like Tu Hi Re. I mean, the way it has been shot and the point it has been shot, it became the highlight of the movie, and it's still a highlight of all the songs which I've sung in my career. So these are 2, 3 like Mere Dushman Mere Bhai. It's about how useless and senseless is this war and killing. It's a beautiful lyrics and the way Anu has composed it. The same goes to Jogo also. It's all said and done, You say that people like rhythm, they like to dance, everything fine. But if some melody is there and the words touches your soul, that's a song which stays, man. It just stays. You will forget all the songs you've heard, you've enjoyed, but suddenly these kind of songs, it gives you a tug.
So you're saying it's both the lyrics and the melody bring out the emotions.
Right.
And that's what a musician does, that reaches the heart, and that's why it sticks.
True. See, again I would say, what makes a singer? Songs. You need songs to be a singer. So, these 2 songs I've been lucky to get them, and I've sung it to my best of my ability. That's very important. So what is the song? What is the content of the song? That's very important. Otherwise, what would la 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 karke hum kitna ga sakte? So it's a teamwork, I would say. It's basically a teamwork.
So let me shift to a little bit of ghazals.
Ghazals. Yeah.
You have been singing ghazals. That was how, from what I understand, A.R. Rahman found you or got interested. He's been following ghazals even before he signed you up for the first song. How do you find this genre of ghazals has influenced your later music in films, in fusion? So what's the connection there?
See, basically, ghazal means to talk a conversation with your beloved. So when you sing a ghazal, if I sing a ghazal, each one should feel that I'm singing it for you or for her. It has to have that personal touch. And you can reach to each one in the room only when you're conversing and you're not throwing the words. You're conversing it to somebody. So conversational element in ghazals is which it sets it apart. That's why we never shout a ghazal. We never pelt out a ghazal. We just say it. We just काश ऐसा कोई मंजर होता मेरे कांधे पे तेरा सर होता काश ऐसा कोई मंजर होता जैसे बात कर रहे हैं काश ऐसा कोई मंजर होता मेरे कांधे पे तेरा सर होता तो इसी तरह से And there is no drama in this singing. There is no drama. जमा करता जो मैं आए हुए संग, जमा जमा करता जो मैं आए हुए संग, सर छुपाने के लिए घर होता, मेरे कांधे पे तेरा सर होता, काश ऐसा कोई मंजर होता. Contrast to this, you're singing for a hero in a film, right? So the hero is dramatic. Hero has to be dramatic, like. Oh. Hey, hey, oh, oh, la 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 la. दिल ने दिल से हाँ प्यार किया. So you're throwing your voice here. Because most of the girls are deaf. Checks apart. I mean, that's why the girls also sing loud, you know. So these are two contrasting.
To contrast.
Yeah.
But again, they reflect two different types of people and conversations.
Absolutely.
Right? And now a lot of conversations, as I was saying, starting to happen on the web, use of technology.
Yeah.
And we are sitting here, so I cannot just sort of not ask you a technology question. Right?
Like, again, the nuances of music, it can go across to the people because you have sensitive microphones. If the microphone was not there, you had to sing louder. So the louder you sing, the small nuances, you can't produce it. The dynamics are less. It is more of one volume, basically. So there, it has helped music.
Right. So it has helped there, but we a lot of us know that it has also helped in distribution and reaching out to your fans. Mm-hmm. But more curious question is, how has it helped you in the creation process? In the olden days, you probably sat with sort of tabla and sitar and harmonium and so on. Now do you sit with computers and mixers and synthesizers? And like, has it changed the process of?
Oh yeah, now I mean, you listen to a groove and you listen to some kind of harmony, and we work out a kind of sequences. You can compose on them. It's basically a starting point you need. Like you want to compose something on Rag Kirwani. So this is a starting point, you know. So right. That way we use this also, this technology, the modern technology.
Okay. You have a large presence on social media, Twitter and Facebook. You have more than 2 million people who like you.
Yeah.
So and I'm sure a lot more people like you in real life in India. So that's impressive, right? You've also started recently. You announced a new application.
Yeah.
Called Sing with Hari.
Sing with Hari.
Can you tell us some more about that?
Yeah, it's an application, very simple. You can download it in your phones, and I sing. Then you got to listen to me carefully, and sing the way I sing. And I've explained certain difficult parts of the song and all that. So you learn it, you can sing it, and then you can make a video with me also. I pop out of the screen, I say, I sing a song, you sing with me, and then you send it to us, then we evaluate and tell you how good it is, and you know. So I wanted, because I wanted to reach out people who really who would benefit from learning certain things from me, and once we start this, then I will take up a section of it. I would be teaching techniques of singing. Basically, just get the interested people, and then I'll start telling them the grammar of music, how to do riyaz, things like that. So, sing with Hari. You want to sing with Hari?
So when can our people get
It's being released in the month of July.
Okay.
July.
For those of you, when it's released in July, you will be announcing it. So, or June, you said, right?
Right, June.
June. So please let's download it and play with it, and we'll get this.
In fact, you can give the link. They can. All right.
Okay, we can play the video.
लिरिक्स है?
यस सर।
तो शुरू हो जाओ।
मैं सर पहले आप
है हैरते आशिक़े जगा मत। You got it? You got it? है?
sir, have you ever thought of getting a mohawk?
क्या?
Mohawk.
Oh, hairstyle.
I think it'll look good. Just my opinion. Sorry.
Start singing now.
हैरते आशिक़े जगा मत।
ये हुई ना बात। पैरों से ज़मीं ज़मीं लगा मत। सिंपल गाओ।
पैरों से ज़मीं commitment. Everybody wants commitment. I mean, what's with this? Forget it.
हाँ, देख रहा हूँ आपका कमिटमेंट। का
पैरों से ज़मीं ज़मीं लगा मत।
Learn the art of singing with Maestro Hariharan. Your place, your time, your convenience.
Mohawk.
So now that you also see your sons and the next generation singing, do you see the difference between how you and this generation sang and how the children are picking up music? Is it more fusion? Is it more classical? What do you see as the future?
Well, see, I must tell the new generation, the kids, they're very intelligent kids. I mean, the kind of speed at which they pick up things is. I'm not for a mud there, basically. But we had an advantage. We didn't have anything to distract us. कुछ भी नहीं था. There was no idiot box. All my, when I was a kid, I used to play or I used to sing. That's it. Two entertainments. No going out and eating. No, था ही नहीं तभी. But these kids are into so many things. They have knowledge, but sometimes it is superficial. They're very happy with just going 15% into it. And that is why you don't get depth. I'm talking of musicians, basically. They're very, very intelligent. The kids who do the full course, like if you have to learn piano, or if you have to, if they do it for a proper 6-8 years, the same happens to Indian classical music also. If you do it, then they shine. Otherwise, it is like that half knowledge thing. And the window today is so small for a musician, is very frightening. Gone are the days where you can sing for 30-40 years. अच्छा 5 साल हो गया, बहुत अच्छा भैया, दूसरा जाओ. Somebody else is coming करके, you know. So that the stress on the kids are also a lot. So it's tough. Only some survive.
It's tough, but the message that you told us earlier is hard work.
Absolutely.
Still required. Persistence.
It's always required, I would
That's
say.
always required, right? And the distractions just make it more difficult.
Yeah, and just get into it. Get into the subject, you know, like become a part of the subject. I mean, just swallow it. Eat it. Yeah.
Is there any tips you have for just having a melodious voice? I mean, you have a God-given melodious voice, but you have perfected it through continuous
Be
years
romantic.
and so on. But just taking care of your voice. Is there any tips for the people?
Well, don't do anything silly. I mean, be normal. Like today I was having lunch, and a friend of ours, he asked me, you have a concert there. You have a concert today, so, but do you take any care about what you're eating? I said, nothing. You're eating this, I'm eating this. So it's basically normal. But normally you avoid oily food, or you avoid an ice cream before a concert, definitely. These things are logical things, you don't do it, that's it. And dust, of course, you can't have dust. It just clogs you up.
So you've won numerous awards, as I said. You won the National Award twice. You've won numerous state awards. The Padmashri was awarded to you. Which of these, either the awards or something else, has you think been your proudest moment so far? What are you most proud of?
I mean, when my gurus, like my mom or my Ghulam Uswaq Khan Sahab, and Mehdi Hasan Sahab is my soul guru, Ruhani guru. So when they say that I've sung well in some concert or something, that really gives me a high. Really, it gives me a high. And of course, awards are like goodies. It gives you that satisfaction, especially when you get a state award or a Padmashri or something like that. You feel, okay, the nation is proud of you, so behave yourself and keep doing what you do best.
I like that it wasn't the awards, but it is the recognition from your gurus.
Yeah. It's all there, like, and when in my concerts, I have kids from the age of 10, 15, right to 70, 80-year-old people, which I'm really happy of, because I have been successful in identifying myself, my music being identified by all the generations. And I hope I keep doing that. That's it.
So for the coming years, what should we expect from you? What should we expect from should we expect more of Hariharan, the Ghazal maestro? Should we expect more of Hariharan, the pioneer of fusion music in India? Or Hariharan, the melodious singer of film songs?
Well, I'm
or a new facet to this brilliant diamond?
I'm doing a lot of fusion with my son, a lot of ragdhari and a lot of singing with EDM music. That's one thing which is happening. I'm doing pure classical Hindustani, which I've never had the time to do, or because it requires a lot of time if you want to do it. ऐसा नहीं कि सुबह एक फिल्म गाना गा के रात शाम को आप कुछ दरबारी गाना गा रहे हैं. It's not possible, basically. It's a way of life, the way your timetable of the day has to be different and things like that. So these two things. And I will definitely sing till I'm comfortable singing, till I like my own singing. I'll stop it the day I deteriorate. But that's important. You got to know till what I can sing. It's been lovely knowing all of you who have been supporting me all these years, who have given me so much love, and thank you.
So on that note, could you sing us a few lines?
All right.
Of your favorite song?
Of my favorite song, okay. तू ही रे तेरे बिना मैं कैसे जीऊं आजा रे यूं ही तड़पाना तू मुझको जान रे इन आँखों में बस जा तू चाहत है अगर आके मुझसे मिल जा तू या फिर ऐसा कर धरती से मिला दे मुझको तू ही रे வந்து என்னோடு கலந்து விடு நினைவே நினைவே எந்த நெஞ்சோடு கலந்து விடு.
So, a last question. Right? Do you have specific advice for the use of our technology in general that will help music, that will help creation of music, that will help promotion of music, that will help people to get music to reach their hearts, whether it be Indian or Western?
You want my advice for that?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Why don't you form a club of the elite musicians of the world from each genre, a Google club of musicians, and they are available to students or institutes of music for their advice, and this whole process happens through Google. And to do that, a student of music or a connoisseur of music have to reach standards and be a member of that society. Start it. It'll grow like wildfire. So at least you know that if a person wants to be a singer and feels that he is a singer, he can get evaluated by the right people, rather than the mother, father, and the cousins. Oh yaar, ki ga rahe ho yaar, kamal hai yaar. Ki pata hai yaar, kamal hai yaar. Ki ga rahe ho yaar, kamal hai. And bichara jab when he comes somewhere and he sings, so you said, so why have you come here to sing? What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing here? I said, but I'm a very popular singer from. So at least that doesn't happen,
It's good.
Yeah. So I think that should be
good.
That should one of the things,
So friends, let's thank Hariharan ji for his time he spent with us. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.